Right, so I found a few things. Using data manager is item, is weapon, is armor. It was breaking because this object actually is one of those. It could be other things, but it could be these, which is why if it hadn't loaded weapon or armors yet, it would maybe it starts with armors and it hadn't done items and weapons yet, alphabetically. Then I was saying data manager is item, but this hadn't loaded yet, so it was causing the crash. So what I do instead, I use object to just say if object is data items, then we will pass in items to this init identify, or we'll pass in weapon, or we'll pass in armor. And init, what this is doing is just initializing it. Says if this identifier, which I'm building myself so I don't rely on getting data class, etc. If this is not in the data for identify, then we will set something up, and I will start with require identification by default, but then afterwards, just in case we don't have all of them requiring it by default, I then check the meta tag or the note to see if it requires identification and then set it to true. And the reason I wouldn't want to just say this is equal to this is because maybe everything requires identification and there is no tag, then this would then say make that false again, which is not the right logic. So then I discovered, where is it? This wasn't working. If hide icon, then hide the icon. This was always returning true, even though I set hide icon to be false. So I was wondering what was going on there, and I discovered this is coming through as a string that says true or false. This could be false as well. So you want to turn it into a condition that says if this is equal to the string true, this becomes Boolean value true. So yeah, even if it's a string that says false, that can still return true. So yeah, that was a bit of a pain, but looks like it's getting there. So far, it looks like everything is being allowed. That'll be because I changed that to say not everything has to be. So let's see if I can get it so that it actually does read the tag, because maybe that's the problem now. Are we setting this to true? No, that's not what I want. It's item.meta. Looks like this is never running. Maybe this is just the complete wrong tag here. Require identify. Okay. Require identify. Okay, we're back to where we were, but with some way of setting it to true now, or saying it has been identified. So let's say um, the first thing is going to be, let's change everyone's health. We'll reduce it just by a little bit. Um, yeah, grab a boolean. We'll say I auto-identify items when used. We don't need auto there, I suppose. Should an item be identified after use? Um, so we need to click on this so that this is updated as here. And now it has been updated. So where does an item get used? On item OK. Item base. Let's see. Determine item. Let's use item. User use item. Okay, maybe we go in here then. So it's probably going to be one of the battler bases. Or battler, there we go. Consume item. Now let's just rip this out and see if it does what we want it to do. We will create an alias for it. Game battler consume item. So we don't want to overwrite this. We will just alias it and then call it, pass in this and then the parameter. And then we will see if we can grab some kind of data. Get the data for the item. Identify data equals this. Um, Oh, we will need to check the parameter first, which I don't think I even set up the parameter. So let's head back up. Identify items when used. So if identify items when used, we will want to get the items identify data and then just set that to false, saying we so this holds whether something requires identification. If we say false, it doesn't require it, then that might be it. Yeah, let's just test it, see how far we get. So click twice and let's see. So this thing here, hmm, what even are those items? Should be full potion. Did I not? Oh, it's plus 30. I need to be decreasing by 30 so we can use items. Okay, let's see. Invalid left-hand side in assignment. Okay. Okay, let's see. Um, oh, I've got update data here. Its value's never read, but it is changed. Maybe this get data thing is not really what we need. Get data is probably fine then just to get the value and to set something up if I failed to catch it on init. Otherwise, we probably just want to do dot data item identifier equals requires identification. So if we do update data rather than trying to get something, we'll pass an item and then say false because it doesn't require it anymore. We have identified it. There we go. Oh, I clicked once. That was so close to being a nice example, right? Here we go. We have multiple items, so we click here, boom, it becomes identified. The description, the name, it's all there. That one can't be used because it's not that type of item. I think it restores status effect or something. Alright, so that's cool. There's a working example of identifying an item. So if we come out of the menu, go back in, yep, it's still identified. Lovely. So now the trickier ways, we have to set up some kind of item that can then target another item. So I think that's going to be a whole scene of its own. that when you use an item, lets you it opens up a menu with all of your unidentified items in it, and then if you click on one, it will reduce your uh, item count for that item, and if you back out, then it won't, so it's like you haven't used the item. Alright, it's a bit more involved than I was thinking, but that's fine. Probably same for skill. If you use a skill identify, it can open up a scene, and if you actually click on an item, it will remove the mana or MP or whatever. But if you don't, maybe it just refunds the MP instead of spending it or something. Uh, so what scene do we want? What scene is closest to what we're looking for? Probably scene item. Right, let's just rip scene item and see what we can do with it. Okay, so all instances of scene item I will change to scene identify, and maybe more specifically scene item identify. I don't know if we'll need to differentiate between skill and item. Just to be safe, let's call it item identify first. So we do want to change that. Yep, we want to move on from that one. Change, move on from that one. Any that say item base, we want to keep. Okay, so now we have our own scene. Actor window. I don't think we need that. Do we need a category window? You know what? Let's leave it in. Maybe if you've got 10 items, 20 weapons, and 30 armor that all need identified, you might want to easily go through the different menus. So we'll leave that one in. Item window, we want to make our own item list, I believe. But so far this is going to be pretty similar. On item OK is going to be different. So we will just comment this stuff out for now. Use item. What is this being called? Use item. Oh, it's maybe this determine item. You know what? If we can't find this anywhere here, maybe don't need this. Okay, let's just get our window now. Item list. We're just going to copy this and then change it. Or I guess that's a bit silly. We'll take the item list as the window we're building off of. Object create window item list. So let's change window item list into window identify item list. And we do want to change it there as well, and there. And then this window selectable, we will just say item list. So this stuff here includes. We will hijack this at the very start and say item, you know what we're looking for is uh, requires identification equals identified data dot get data for the item, and then we'll just say if it doesn't require identification, we will return false early because they shouldn't be in this window. I don't think they ever need a number. We don't need to. We don't care if there's 10 potions. We just care if. You know what? Maybe that's not true. Maybe if you have 10 potions, you would be more likely to want to identify that to figure out what it is because you've got 10 of them. Is enabled. That's gonna. I think that'll be true at all times. Obviously, we can change this if we find a different reason for it to not be true. So this make item list is going to be pretty easy. It's the exact same. We get all the items and then we filter it with includes, which is what we've already done. If it needs identification, it should be in here. And then we also filter by the regular way of doing it. So to be better about this, we maybe should do an alias here. Or I don't think we need the alias. I think we just need to say item list. I think it's that. So we're saying do the bit that we want, but then also run the item lists include method. I think this will work. We're just using it in the same way that this uses it. If this is exactly the same, we don't need it. We don't need select last or any of this. This draw item, I don't think we need it because we will probably rely on. Oh, maybe this is overwriting the window base. We'll see though. We'll comment out for now. No, number width stays the same. Um, if all this is the same, we don't need it here. That's the good thing about building on top of um, another class. If it's exactly the same, you don't need to add it in your code because it already knows what to do. I do think we need initialize. This is exactly the same, but I don't know if we need initialize. We definitely need the create part in this, I think. Set category. Well, I'll try and comment this out just to see if we get away with not needing it. So at the end of the day, we didn't really need too much, I don't think. Draw item number, also don't need that. So far all I've changed is this, saying we only want to add something to the list if it should be there, I guess. Let's try opening this scene. Use it. Um, so let's say we put some kind of item here that we say this is for identifying. Only from the menu screen we'll say. There's no real scope, you just use it. Regular item. Maybe you need a common event. It would be better if I could just code up something that says this is an identify item. Can identify. And maybe how many uses? Hmm. I'll make it single use for now, but we'll keep a note that maybe we want multiple use items. Did there not used to be something that you can have sort of uses built in? Alright, let's say can identify. What is the game party? Game party had an interest in consume item. Well, let's try this. I think there's going to be some wonky behavior if you try and identify items in combat. Right, call this and then pass in the item. So that just runs this bit of code. And then afterwards, we can say if item.meta dot can identify how do we change scenes with code again? Let's see. MZ with code. C manager push. That's it. Hold on. Really? Scene item identify. So this guy's going to have to give us some of those items as well. Maximum call stack. Hmm. Let's see. What's the difference between doing call and apply? Just how you pass arguments, nothing else? Okay, that's okay then. Oh. Oh, game battler consume item. No, 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 no. Game party consume item. Hmm. Well, we're in the menu, I believe. So if I go back now, yep, takes us back here. So it is loading our scene, but our scene doesn't seem to be giving back what we expect. It might be this part. Let's just see what happens. Requires identification. Maybe this always comes back with some silly nonsense saying like No, nothing ever needs it. Oh no, some of them came back true, but nothing is here. Oh yeah, this is enabled. We should probably just say return item. So if something exists, then it's enabled. If it's null or undefined, then it won't be clickable. Oh, we're not drawing any items, so maybe we do need this. And it's draw item name. I'm hoping this is just going to take from the base window base thing. Let's see. Hmm. So we clearly have items, but for some reason it's choosing not to draw them. So let's dive a bit deeper and see why. Let's put that in. I don't know if that would make a difference, but it's worth just checking. No, no. Okay, so I'm gonna be bold and just get rid of that. So just to make sure we are getting all the items coming through. Okay, so it says false for these. Full potion says true. Okay, so how come you don't want to draw it? Maybe I can't do this. Maybe this is running a different function, which means this can return something, but we we aren't catching it to return back into this function. It was staying in that function. So maybe that's the key there. Here we go. Okay. So now when we click on an item, on item OK is doing this. We want to use this item and say identify data dot update data, pass in that item and say it no longer requires identification. And then we will pop the scene. On item cancel, nothing. On category cancel, I would like to do something. If it pops the scene, then I want the game party to gain item this dot item. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. It's the item that was used to get here. I wonder if we can catch that somehow. Hmm. I guess if we, yeah, if we're getting here, um, last identify item used, we can store that somewhere. So anytime we use an item that can identify, we'll store it in this. And we should probably do the underscore thing. So if we're popping the scene, yeah, if we're cancelling and we're leaving the scene without clicking on an item, we should get this item back because we didn't actually do anything. The worry here is that it's gonna move it down. So if your item is at the top of the menu and you only have one of them and then you use it and then you suddenly add one back, it might be at the bottom of your item list instead of the last place that it used to be. So we'll see how this looks if one item is in the inventory. Another way of doing this actually is to lose the item. Let's say it's not consumable. So we don't need to gain an item because we didn't lose the item. The only time we care is if they update the data. Instead of gaining the item, they will lose the item. That's maybe the better way of doing it. So I've got 8. I use the item. I return without clicking on one. I still have 8. If I click on this, I have 7 now, and full potion has been identified. Now there probably needs to be some kind of pop-up that says what you identified, because like you might not know which one this is. Let's try again. If I go this, and then you go to weapon and say, well, fair enough, they're in order still, but you probably shouldn't just have to try and remember where it was to figure out what you did. So can I have a little window pop up that just says what the item was, and then the window goes away? Hmm. Informing the player of what they just identified. Done that. So yeah, now we have items that can identify. So that's pretty cool. Let's get one of the armors. So it seems like it's working so far. That's all good.